Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending Dashboard Dive Savings Portfolio Analysis. Your instructors for today are Thomas Hall and Brandon Shaw. We expect this class to last about 30 minutes. As you joined us today, all phones were placed on mute to eliminate background noise and interruptions. To facilitate answering questions you have during the broadcast, we use the chat feature. You can find the chat feature by hovering over the bottom of the presentation screen. You should then see the toolbar with a series of icons. Click the one that says chat, then select presenter and type your question. Questions may be sent at any time. We will be stopping throughout the presentation to answer questions. We appreciate your attendance today. With that, we'll turn it over to Thomas and Brandon to get started. Enjoy the presentation.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us again on our Thursday at 3 o'clock Dashboard Dive series. It was a race to get started here. You have to love it when you have some technical delays. So thank you for bearing with us as we started a minute or two late here. But we're here and we're very excited to dive into topic number 2 of this 2018 series. So we are talking about our portfolio analysis tools, and I'm going to utilize the search bar here to find it here. So I'm just going to do we'll do portfolio to get us in there, and you can see we've got 6 different portfolio analysis tools on our system. Last week we spent about half an hour talking about tool 595, the portfolio analysis loan tool. We will be posting that video within the next week or so on our study.cuanswers.com website. So if you missed that session, please circle back in there in about another week from now, and you'll see that recording so you can watch that should you have missed it. But today we're going to dive into the savings version of this tool. And they work pretty similarly, don't they, Brandon?
Yeah, it's similar setup, and the concept behind them is quite the same. We looked at loans last week. This week we'll be looking at savings. You'll see a lot of the same features and a lot of the same functionality between the 2 dashboards. Analyzing two different objects, though. We're looking at savings instead of loans, so all of the functionality is the same. Understanding one dashboard, you might be able to jump right in and utilize the other one due to that. So we'll dive in here and we'll see a similar screen to the same one if you were able to attend last week. But the first thing that we're presented with is the show me the portfolio as of. So this is kind of where the time slicing piece of this dashboard comes into play. A few different options here. The very first one we have is current, and then we're followed by the in the month options. So what this is going to allow us to do is look at the portfolio, the savings, but in different time slices. So you can see over on the right-hand side of the 4 different options that it also gives you the date associated with that as well. So that's nice to have that information so you're not guessing. It's clearly put on the screen. So, all the way from current, so February 22nd, 2018, and then it gives you the in the month files for the previous 3 months. So you're able to select that. Today we're using the test credit union to demo this dashboard. We will warn you that the test credit union does have some, you'll see some random data in there. You'll see some miscellaneous pieces that may seem out of place. That's due to the test environment that it is set up in. People are able to test in this credit union library. So you'll see some random stuff throughout, but you'll see the overall picture of it and see the functionality of it. So I think for today's purposes, we'll probably stick with the current option.
Yep.
So that would be looking at the savings portfolio as of today.
As of right now.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing that is very powerful about these dashboards. There are the time slices. Your pick for whatever you want to look at, balances as of this very second. This will change if you run it at 10 a.m. and then turn around and rerun it at 11 a.m. You will have different counts. Any payments that posted or any activity that has occurred in that time period will be captured in that current time slice. The second half of this screen is, you're picking how you want to slice and dice your portfolio. The first option, we default to a GL, where you can slice and dice that way. I think the more common 2 are the bottom options, by application type and then by dividend application. If you're not very familiar with the terminology that we have on CU-Base with, we've got loan categories, purpose codes, dividend applications, application types, it gets confusing. But the application type is one of the larger buckets. In this drop-down option, we can see these are all of your deposit-based types of accounts. We've got savings accounts, checking accounts is SD, IRA savings, and then tax escrow accounts. So these are your large buckets. You could you probably do have subcategories in each of these. You've got multiple types of savings accounts, multiple types of checking accounts, but you could pick an individual application type to drill down in here, or you could see a summary statistics view of the 4 buckets. So we're going to start here, and we're going to kind of jump around a little bit. But so here for each of those 4 buckets, we can see the first column I want to draw your attention to is this third column in. This is counting the number of sub-products that you have. So this would be your dividend applications. So you have 6 dividend applications configured that are all IR application types. 17 share drafts, your checking accounts, 19 share products. So, really quickly, a big selling point here is no query work, no complicated configs, just a couple clicks of the mouse. And here we can see exactly how many sub-products are configured for each application. We've got some nice usage information as well as we go to the right.
Yeah, and so as Thomas just alluded to, it gives you kind of that first glance and just seeing the numbers of the different application types that you have. So that's great right off the bat. And then we're able to dive into it a little bit deeper. So the first column after that is going to be the split rate. There are magnifying glasses underneath this, and essentially what it does is it allows you to see the various rates that are associated with that application type. Now, I will warn you that when you're in this summary analysis, that's not going to populate quite right because we're just looking at the overview information. So we'll kind of show you that in the next screen here when we go into it.
Yeah. So we're going to switch. So we started with that summary view, and now we're going to drill down into one specific application type. Let's take a look at checking products. I think there's probably some meat on the bone there to look at. So we can select that, and you can see right off the bat our application types are all SBs, so we filtered to just our share draft applications. Now here are all those sub-products that we were talking about. I love your comment on the split rate here. This allows you to quickly see which products are configured with a split rate, and you can even drill down into those configuration options that are associated with that product. Again, this is probably one of those in-your-face examples of their test credit union where configurations probably don't really pass the sniff test for a real-life environment, but it does show you some of the capabilities of the product. Moving across the screen here, we have number of accounts is really what I would read this as. It's listed as number share. And then unique members. So this would be 73 configured AB dividend application products spread across 66 unique members. We do have our average balance per account and then the total portfolio balance for that application.
Yep, and bear in mind that all these columns are sortable, so you're able to select one and quickly see where your highest current balance is at. In this case, it would be the dividend application of CK, this yes account. So very quickly, we're able to see the highest balance, and then, if you tab it back, you can see the lowest balance. You can do that throughout these different ones. So a lot of the times what we do is we turn the dashboards with the sense of asking a question. Some quick questions that you're able to answer right off just sorting the columns would be items such as what dividend application for my share draft has the highest balance, which has the highest average balance per account. Then you can even go, how about the number of accounts under the number of shares Thomas alluded to. So right there, we're able to see that the heavy hitter in this is that CK dividend application. We're able to identify that right off the bat. So those questions that you come into the dashboards with. Sometimes it's just as simple as filtering on columns in order to see the question that you want to answer. Another object that I did want to point out here, just to make sure we don't fly by it, is the GL account column. So you're able to see the GL that's attached to these various different applications. And then up in the top right-hand corner there, we do have the number of GL accounts. So in this circumstance, you can see that there are 18 GLs total that are making up these application types of the SD.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And another benefit there is for any of you who subscribe to Analytics Booth, if you're doing any type of GL trending, or again, we've got the portfolio dashboards as part of that tool. Seeing that GL here can make it very easy to link up to the Analytics Booth long-term trending displays. So you, instead of a snapshot of just you got your 3 end-of-month files or today, you could carry this over into AB, see that daily data that we trend for many months. If anyone is interested in more information about Analytics Booth, a web-based trending product that's based off of your SIU-based data, definitely reach out to us. We can give you a free demo or show you some of the capabilities there. But these two products, really all these portfolio products and the web-based capabilities in the Analytics Booth really go hand in hand and complement each other very nicely. You mentioned a big concept with these dashboards is to ask a question and then see those answers. And you're heading right down our ASAP mentality. We talked about it last week. We're going to have to mention it again. We definitely take a ASAP approach to dashboards. And what that means to us is you have a question you want to ask, you want to see the answers, you want to act on the information you're presented with, and hopefully profit from those actions. So we definitely take that workflow into consideration as we develop dashboards and as we try to promote best practices of how to use them and how to incorporate them in your operations. So we've definitely, very easily covered the first A and S. The ask a question. We've got lots of questions that this dashboard can answer, and you can see the results very quickly, very easily, with no query or heavy data mining work. And that brings us to the action aspect here, and that's where these buttons come into play right here, right, Brandon?
Yeah. So underneath the first ones we'll talk about here are underneath the number of members column. So you'll see this very top one that has 8,598 members that make up that CK dividend application. The first option that we're hovering over here is the export members. So what we're able to do is when we select this option, you'll get a pop-up screen, and this says export complete dashboard list to file names. Over on the right-hand side, you'll also see a little note letting you know that this will be saved in your queries in your credit union's query library. The 2-character is your CU ID. It's found on the bottom of your CU base session. In this case, you'll see in that pop-up window in the right-hand corner on the bottom is WU. So it'd be saved in our query WU library. Thomas just went ahead and typed in this name, and essentially what this is doing is just naming the file. So what exactly does the file contain? The file is going to contain the account bases of those members that make up that CK dividend application. So let's say you come in here with a question and you want to know what dividend application has the highest current balance, and we want to run some sort of campaign, or let's say we just want to do some further analysis, anything along those lines, and we essentially want to extract those members out of there. This is where you would come to get those 8,598 members. So at a click of a button here, just that little button, we're able to go ahead and export that. So you can see a message on the bottom of your screen letting you know that the file has now been created. So at this point, you can utilize the query tool, you can utilize the list generator, various different aspects around in order to use that file you just created.
Yeah.
Another aspect that actually lays right within this dashboard is the Member Connect option in the bottom left-hand corner. So without even leaving the dashboard, we're able to pull out certain members here, and without even leaving it, we're able to actually take action. So back to the ASAP approach. So when we select this option, it's pre-filled in with the file name that we just created. So the CK members already created in your query library. It's populated in this file name field, and you're presented with a few different options. The first one is online banking and or email message. Second would be mailing labels and statement inserts and telemarketing tracker. So right away, we're able to decide, I want to communicate with these members that make up this dividend application. And then we also have some various options on the bottom, to exclude members that either opted out of third-party contacting or CU contact. So right away, we're presented with a tool within the dashboard to reach out to them. Very powerful when you're talking of just a few clicks of the button in order to actually communicate with members. Very powerful and straight to the point.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the speed to action here is impressive. I mean, in 30 seconds or so, you could be drafting an email to these 8,500 members or so. I strongly recommend that you explore this functionality and see what it can add to your operational workflows. But there's a whole other option here, so that's our action. That's how can we look at this information and jump to action, communicate with these people, flood their trackers, whatever your preference may be. There's another option over here labeled as common bonds, and this allows you to continue the analysis. You might have questions about these members. All right, these are my checking account holders. This is my primary checking product that the vast majority of my members are enrolled into. Who are these members? What's their average age? What other products do they use? How do they interact with the credit union? Those other questions that you might have about this subset of your members is exactly why we have this common bonds tool. So this tool will take that subset of members, just as 8,500 members or so, and we'll analyze them for you. We have 4 different dimensions that we will analyze your members in by their account composition. So what other products do they have? Membership traits. Credit history is a very powerful one. Unfortunately, again, we're in our test credit union, and we really don't have very many credit reports available in our test credit union. But I definitely recommend on your own, run that credit history trends. Is a very powerful tool there. You can also do a 4th option, a tiered services analysis, which looks at, are these bronze members, are they silver members, and so forth. Last week we did a membership traits. We'll do a account composition analysis here. And we are presented with 10 pages of analysis after the subfile is analyzed. This pop-up here is essentially like a book. It's what page do you want to look at? You can, they flow page 1 through 10, and if you want to just cut to the chase and pick one specific area you want to look at, you can. We'll start at the beginning. You can see here's the analysis 1 of 10 that I was talking about. If you picked one farther down in the list, it would just start off at 5 of 10. But that question we had, again, ask the question, see the answer. How old are these members? Here we can see a age breakdown, broken down individuals versus organizational accounts. We've got a gender breakdown, if you're curious there. With the zip code, a regional analysis. You do have the option to toggle the masking off. So here we round it to kind of the 3-digit zip code, but you can turn that off and do a full zip code analysis, see more precisely where these people are. Membership designations. Page 2, we'll just kind of go through. We've got some seg data, products and services per member. Looks like tiered services not being run here. This calculation is kind of built into tiered services scoring. So I think because we're in our test environment, we're losing that data.
Yeah, I will say that product and services per member, though, is one of my favorite aspects of common bonds. So, I mean, we're able to get these members that have checking accounts, and we're able to come in here and see, well, what's the average amount of products that these individual members actually have. Right? It's a very quick way to find out some pretty interesting information about the subset of members.
Yeah, exactly. Here, page 3, we start to get a feel for when this relationship started. What day of the week did these members open their account on? And oddly enough, we can see we've got a big bulk of them on Friday. It takes the winner here for account opening. what branch did they open their membership at, looking at the employee ID, who opened the most, various account opening reason codes. Again, just trying to answer more and more of those questions about who are these members, why did they join the credit union, did they come from a SEG, and how might I be able to duplicate this relationship that I have. I want more checking account holders. So let's understand who my checking account holders are, so I can try to reach out to more of these members. Here, page 4, we get into this, a lot of the digital services penetration. So we can look and see how many members use e-statements and e-notices, mobile text banking, members with an email address. Here, this is kind of funny. Here, let's say you lost probably one member here, members of the checking account, and we're looking to add a checking account. My thought, I'd have to drill into how we lost one there. Again, test credit union, I would hope that you all have 100% there. We got some opt-in stats if you're looking at your fee income, trying to drive some more fee income with Reg E and so forth. And this is page 5 we just got to. So there's lots of information about these members that you can drill into. Here we're looking at more of the products and services. Number of savings accounts open, checking accounts, IRAs. What other products do they have? What else are they utilizing? And really, the back of my mind, I'm thinking we saw how easy it is to communicate to these people. Is there a need here? Can we identify? I guess maybe the lowest penetration here might be this IRA share. Maybe that's an opportunity that I want to explore, the need that is under-fulfilled within this member segment. Then I would circle back to that member connect. Maybe that's the message I would want to push out to this subset of members. Here's a deeper dive on dividend applications. We're looking at what other applications they are utilizing. CDs, what CDs are out. I'm going to start going a little bit quicker here. Loan category, what loans do they have? And again, in the back of my mind, we're looking for opportunities. What is low penetration? What might I be able to market towards these members? These last 2 pages I think are very powerful, and we're looking at product maturity. So specifically right now, we're looking at loan maturity. So out of this subset of members, how many have loans maturing in the next 0 to 3 months? Again, opportunities here. Maybe it's a group I need to reach out to and try to, get them to, they're about to pay off, get them to take out a new loan. So you can look and see, it's like we've only got one loan that's closing in 4 to 6 months. So forth. Again, test credit union, not very good data. But point being, you can look and see these maturity schedules for opportunities for re-engagement. Exact same concept with certificate maturities. Looking for additional engagement opportunities, more talking points that you might have with this group. So we can easily back out of here and get right back to our portfolio analysis screen that we started on.
Yeah, and I think the point being with the common bonds is that if you were to come in here and you were to take a look around at just this initial current portfolio share screen, maybe dive into a group and do the common bonds, it'd be pretty tough not to find some sort of action to take. You're going to find areas that could use improvement. You're going to find areas of strengths. You're going to find actions to actually take really quickly for the most part, and most of the time it's just going to jump off the screen to you. Sometimes it will take some digging, and sometimes it's just going to be there. If you see a large amount of members that don't have debit cards, but yet you're looking at the checking account dividend application, there you go. It's something as simple as, hey, do you have our new debit card? Would you be interested in getting one of these? Things such as that, it can just make a world of a difference, and it's all very easy into your fingertips for you to take action on. So, I know we keep alliterating that, but it's the point of the dashboards is to provide you with resource and able to use that, to understand your subsets of members and so forth. So we went through the exporting option of the subset of members for each different application type, and then also how we can view them through common bonds. There is one more option we can do, which is in the bottom left-hand corner, export full list. So this wouldn't be the subset of members, but rather this would be essentially what you're seeing on the page. So you would be able to, if we want to go ahead and just select that option, you'll see the same pop-up screen as you did when you were looking at the members, but instead of just exporting those members, what you're going to get is essentially this whole screen. So if you want to work with it, maybe a query, something along those lines, it's an option available for you as well. Again, that's going to be in your query library. So a couple different exporting options, you know, either get the subset of members or get the full list of what you're looking at. We have an option to dive into common bonds and ask additional questions and get a little bit more insight about the members. Quite a few action buttons, as you might want to refer to them as, and of course the Member Connect option. So getting all that information and utilizing that, like I mentioned before, these files that you may export, keep in mind, there are various tools on CU-Base, such as the query tool or the list generator. So maybe you want to export all the members with a checking account, and then you want to put them in list generator in order to you know, add some other criteria and stipulations, and maybe you want to export all those members and then put it in list generator and remove anyone that doesn't have a loan, or remove anyone that does have a loan because you want to send them a loan marketing campaign, something along those lines. So just start thinking about those types of options as you're going through these dashboards.
Yep. I love it. We one last reminder, you know, we have the option for you to earn a $25 gift card to join us as a co-host for any of these sessions. We have there's a couple Thursdays we're skipping, but roughly the next 20 Thursdays we have a Thursday at 3 p.m. dashboard dive scheduled. The study.suanswers.com website, you can see a list of all the scheduled courses and the topics that we are discussing. If any of those topics really speak to you, you know, if it's a tool that you use and you know, promote and love, and you know, would want to join us in these conversations, please reach out to us. There is a link that you can follow on that study.suanswers.com website. And for joining us, being a co-host, you'd earn a $25 gift certificate. We would love to hear your experiences with the dashboard, how you use it operationally at your credit union.
Yeah, and I think that's the big point, right, is that we utilize these tools as well, but there's a lot of you that utilize these on the front lines every day, and you're able to really use it in your everyday life and how you use it as a credit union. So sometimes, you know, the co-host method is very good, and it allows some additional insight that maybe we don't utilize the tool for, but you all would. And so it's not only beneficial to us, but also everyone that's doing the dashboard dives and joining. So keep that in mind if you're interested in doing it, and do remember the gift card associated with that as well.
So we will stick around another minute or so for any Q&As. Please use that chat feature if you have any last-minute questions here. Otherwise, please look at that study.suanswers.com website. Sign up for next week's session. We're looking at, that's going to be our last portfolio analysis discussion. We're going to be looking at the credit card portfolio tool, right in that same block that we looked at the beginning of today. So please sign up for that. We'll see you next week. And we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us today. What else? Anything else, Brandon?
Nope, I think that's pretty much it. We'll sit around, and any questions that come through, definitely feel free to ask about this dashboard or any other items that might be on your mind at the moment. And we'll kind of hang down the line here for a couple moments.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep, have a nice day.